Good evening, everybody. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you so very much and welcome to the inaugural Trepwork for Good event hosted here in partnership with the Eiffel Society. I want to thank everyone for coming out this evening. So, good evening, everyone. My name is Blake Stanfield. I'm the Director of Growth for Trepwise. Trepwise is an impact consulting firm located here in New Orleans. Our mission is to help organizations reach their maximum potential. So we do strategy, we do operations, we do marketing, we do finance, consulting with for and nonprofits all across the city and the country. Tonight we're here celebrating and really giving our platform to two of our clients, two nonprofits that are doing tremendous work in the New Orleans and really across the country with communities. And so we have STEM NOLA, who's here, and its founder, Dr. Calvin Mackey. And what STEM NOLA is doing is really inspiring and engaging the community around fields in STEM. It's exposing kids, it's exposing youth to opportunities throughout the STEM field. And we're going to have STEM NOLA come up in a moment and talk a little bit more about the work that they're doing. We also have Brothers Empowered to Teach, that is co-founded by Larry Irving and Christina Jones. And Brothers Empowered to Teach is exposing, training, and developing Black male educators and getting them opportunities in public education. And so these two organizations, we felt in the month of August, our back to school month, would be great organizations to profile and to really raise attention and resources for. And so we thank all of you for coming out today. Please continue to purchase things at the bar. There's a raffle, there's exhibits, there's merchandise and swag. So please come in and support these organizations. What I want to do now is have STEM NOLA come up, and there's a short presentation about the work that they're doing in the community, just so you can learn a little bit more about all the amazing things that are going on with STEM NOLA.
Hey, good evening. My name is Calvin Mackey, and thank you all for coming up. I'm one of the co-founders of STEM NOLA. The other co-founders, my beautiful wife Tracy of 20 years, and our two boys, Miles and Mason. We're raising two young men in the city of New Orleans, and we wanted to make sure that they had the skills necessary to succeed in the 21st century. One day, our 9-year-old came home, and I asked him, how was his grades? He said, Daddy, I got all A's. I said, that's what I expect of you, son. He said, Daddy, he said, my friends want to know how I know all this. I said, do you tell them you do all these experiments in the garage with your daddy? He said, yeah, Daddy, but my friends need this. My son realized right then and there that he was head and shoulders above his friends because he was exposed to somebody and exposed to other things that most kids were not. And at that point, we made a decision that we would take what we were doing in the garage and hopefully impart it into every kid, not only in New Orleans, but across this country. In 4.5 years, STEM NOLA has engaged over 20,000 kids from 600 different schools. We've held over 100 events, 50 in New Orleans, all of them in New Orleans Recreation Center. Our mantra is bringing STEM to the community. In the 21st century, our kids are going to have one of three options. They're going to take something, break something, and or make something. And if we don't give them the skills to make something, they're only going to leave them with two options that we see on the news every night. So we are committed to making sure that our children are exposed to the skills of the 21st century from the cradle to the grave. And in short, I would like to recognize my team. They look at me like I'm crazy because I work them like I'm crazy. But we are committed to making sure that we bring high quality programming to our children. We have Erin, Lamaya, Chantel, Gary, and Devin. We have 8 full-time employees right now. We have something like 25 part-time employees. We've put over $350,000 in the hands of college students in the city of New Orleans in the last 3 years. We believe a high-functioning community is child-centered, adult-governed, elder-ruled. So all of our events, we focus on the children. We surround them with the college kids who we consider are the adults, and we pay the adults because they have to carry the load. And then we expect the elders, the STEM and trade professionals to come out and volunteer and show our kids what they can be. Now, in short, our mission is this. We live in a city where there's a high school here that's put probably more young men in the NFL than probably any high school in America. We live in a country that makes sure that on every Saturday there's 1 million kids playing football, hoping and dreaming and believing that 10 or 15 years later, there'll be one of 250 people that get drafted and become millionaires. We live in a country that makes sure that every Saturday there's 1 million young men playing basketball, hoping and dreaming and believing that 10 or 15 years later there'll be one of 60 that get drafted and become millionaires. We live in a nation that makes sure that every Saturday boys and girls are running track, playing gymnastics, hoping and believing that one day there'll be the one that get drafted and win a gold medal and become a millionaire. At STEM NOLA, our big vision is we hope and believe and dream that there'll be a day in America where there's 1 million kids on Saturday doing STEM, hoping and believing and dreaming that one day, 10 or 15 years later, Savitri, there'll be one of the 14 million millionaires in the world, or one of the 2,500 billionaires in the world, because they've created something that they own and sold to the world such that they never have to ask another man, another woman, other government to do for them what they otherwise could do for themselves. Thank you all. Please support us. We have a big basket of alcohol, $5 raffle. You need some more raffles over there, that's a lot of alcohol. And make sure you sign up if you know anybody in your family that should know about this. We've engaged the entire community around social media, and we'd like to make sure that we expose more kids. So thank you all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mackey. That's kind of a hard act to follow. So someone asked me earlier, what does impact consulting mean? And so just to talk about some of the work we do with STEM NOLA, just bringing that to life. So we work with STEM NOLA on identifying different growth opportunities that the organization can have. We help identify the different funding streams that the organization could access. We help put together that messaging that Dr. Mackey just talked about and refining it and making sure that it lands with the different audiences that we would be looking to attain sustainable funding from. We also help the organization with thinking through its culture and the values that the organization has and making sure that it is permeated and lived in the different work that it does. And so that's just some of the work that we at Trepwise do as impact consultants. So next up, we're going to have Larry and Christina from Brothers Empowered to Teach come up and talk a little bit about what they're doing.
They had this called same struggles every black man has in America. They struggle making a connection. Teachers didn't pay attention to them, that they were marginalized in the back of the classroom. Children need to see people who look like them, especially when all they see on the news is black men running a football, dribbling a basketball, hitting a baseball, or being arrested. We thought we could help. We decided teaching was the medium.
When it's not just building a roller coaster ride, man. Funding is always key. So that was a huge help. We would reach this definitely expand thinking some of the conversations around diversity and teacher pipeline across the country.
We want to discuss gentrification. All the cultures that we brought to that area are going to die out. How can we use capital where people who have capital work with people in the community?
What does that look like for our people, the natives? You know what I mean? Like,
For somebody who lived in the trenches, got out of the trenches and said, I'm here to help because I know where you are and I know where you come from because I was there too.
and teachers would look up to and say, oh yeah.
The black men are seen as educators and they're seen as people who can influence and help children grow and become their best selves.
I was a lot of prayers, man. I feel like I'm carrying those narratives, if you will, like they're almost depending on me. When black men get to bring their greatness into the classroom, we can have a thing that changes the world.
Good evening, everyone. No, kind of loud. Let me adjust for a second. Thanks for coming out. First off, I want to take time to extend our thanks to Kevin Wilkins, the entire Trepwise team, Lulu, Blake. They've been a tremendous help in regards to our organizational capacity, helping us with our systems implementation, and just really get buttoned up as an organization. So Kevin, Trepwise team, thank y'all. Dr. Mack is usually a hard act to follow, so we're going to try. He really touched on a lot of the issues as far as the spirit of our mission and why we do what we do. We're looking to widen the scope of possibilities for black and brown children in classrooms, not only in New Orleans, but across the country. We can start with the stats. We know less than 3% of all teachers right now are black men. Those ramifications and implications of that stat are profound. Me and Christina had a lot of conversations early on in the preliminary stages of starting this work around the plight of black men. And a lot of those conversations came down to the duality, this dual consciousness that I myself still continue to deal with, and a lot of our black men in these colleges and the classrooms deal with. Really just trying to figure out who they are as black men, because we know the constant affirmed representations and visuals and aesthetics that we see and that they see. And we strongly believe that kids are what they see. So if we want kids, this next generation, this new wave of students that's currently in classes to become educators and future leaders of education, they have to see themselves in that light. If they don't see themselves in that light, it's probably a long shot that they're going to be educators. At the same time, I think the lack of representation or the lack of black males in the classroom also creates a narrative that we need to, frankly, get rid of. When non-black students and black students don't see black men leading from an intellectual capacity, that creates another narrative that's very, very dangerous. And that's the backdrop of why we do this work. I'm gonna let Christina, my beautiful co-founder, get to some of the programmatics and how we do what we do.
So how we do what we do is we deal with two pain points. One, that black young people in schools, we know in New Orleans are 85% students of color. They very rarely see black men in positions of leadership. And so what we do is we take young black men who are in college, who we know that a third of them will drop out as early as their sophomore year of college, and intervene at that point and give them a sense of attachment by having them work locally in our public school system, and first starting off working in an after-school program. The idea is that through a sense of attachment, they will learn that they can and do teach. They will learn that they can and will impact children, and that children will benefit from seeing them on a daily basis. Just the vision of a black man leading a classroom has the profound ability to impact the life trajectory of a child. For instance, Johns Hopkins University just told us that if you have one black male educator, from K through 5, you have a 40% better chance of graduating from college and high school. So that's profound. So basically, the fellowship works this way. We take you when you're a sophomore, you work in an after-school program, you work 10 to 12 hours a week. You do the Cypher, which is our personal development program, and then years 2 and 3, you work at one of our local school partners. You get paid to learn while you earn. And at the end, by working in that school over that period, you have a better chance of being able to get a job when you're finished. Because we know one of the things is that many black men want to teach and have had a difficult time even getting in the door to interview for teaching. So we take that challenge out of the way. They get paid a pretty good amount. Just like Dr. Mackey said, we need to put money in the pockets of these students so that they can do what they need to do to be successful in class, and they can do what they need to do to be successful in this program. You know, Larry and I always share this one story. When we were at the NFL Yet, we had a bunch of students who were tutoring there. Jared Harris over there was one of them. And there were a number of Tulane volunteers who happened to be all white. And when those white volunteers came, our students got up from their black young men who were tutoring them and left. And we asked them why. And they said, because black men don't go to college and they don't have academic backgrounds. And so we know, just like Larry said, if they don't see that we do well academically, that we achieve and thrive, then they will not believe that that's possible. So thank you for coming today, and please buy a t-shirt over here. And we want to recognize our friends and staff over there, our 2 alumni, the Jareds, Jared Harris and Jared Jupiter, Kevin Griffin, our podcast producer, and thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. And so the type of work that we did with Brothers in Power to Teach, we did a lot of operations and process mapping, the different aspects of their program. We've helped with really thinking through their fundraising and sustainability strategy and their marketing, and just doing really overall culture building for the organization. Before I get off the stage, I really want to thank our partners at Eiffel Society for giving us this space to highlight and profile these nonprofits. So this event would not be possible without the space, the Eiffel Society. So I want to thank Nicole's in the back for allowing us and partnering with Trepwise to put this event together, and thank all of you for coming out this evening. So again, instructions, please buy a raffle ticket. It's a whole basket full of alcohol over here for $5. So please buy a raffle ticket for that. There's also a podcast, a live podcast that Christina and Larry are about to record. So if you want to come and freestyle on the mic over there, microphones, you can do that. If not, come buy a t-shirt. Please, a Real Brothers Teach t-shirt, and take some of these information, the collateral that STEM NOLA and Real Brothers Teach and Brothers in Power to Teach have, and give them to somebody that you know that might benefit from this message. All right? Thank you so much for your time. I look forward to meeting all of you, and have a good time. All right?